You're listening to Adults Talking Anime Plus, a place where adults talk about anime, comics, video games, and whatever else they want. I'm your current adult, Inga Draper, and today I have an up-and-coming cosplayer as my guest, and she's one of my very good friends. Her name is Jelena7 on Instagram, but I'm just going to call her Jelena. Hello, Jelena.
Hi, Inga.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so we're just going to talk a little bit about anime, cosplay, all of that fun, video games, really whatever you want, but we'll get somewhere with it. But let's start with, since you are an up-and-coming cosplayer.
Up-and-coming cosplayer.
You're an up-and-coming cosplayer. Don't laugh. It's true. You're killing the game right now. How long have you been doing cosplay?
Seriously, almost 2 years.
Okay. Kind of what got you into it? Like, what was like the defining moment that's like, oh, this is something I definitely want to do?
Well, I grew up in theater and making costumes, but when I hit college, I kind of stopped doing any of that. And I grew up in an area that didn't have conventions. I didn't really know what they were outside of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
That was obviously greatly publicized in the news and stuff. But obviously I went to college down in Southern California.
Okay.
And my friend Haley, she used to do cons all the time, and she was like, we should go to them. So I was like, cool, it sounds good to me. And seeing people in cosplay and everything, it was like, I should do that. That looks like fun. So
that's very cool. Yeah, I mean, isn't that how anybody would get started, kind of being like, I think I want to do this thing?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I was really into Halloween growing up. Like my mom and I used to make costumes, just, with the same way most cosplayers make costumes, just not greatly, like a lot of like found materials.
Sure.
And which, just very creative ways of making things.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that can be the part that discourages people from getting into cosplay. Or, I don't know, I think there was always that stigma for a little bit, like, ooh, you're not a cosplayer if you don't make your costumes or something like that. I mean, for me, I was just like, I don't have skills.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think I can do this thing.
Yeah.
So what was, what was one of your first cosplays?
My first cosplay, Haley and I used to do like Team Rocket grunts. But that was before we were really taking it seriously, because that's literally adding an R to a shirt. So if we count that, I've been cosplaying for actually quite a long time. But that is all that we ever did. We just wore the Rocket grunt outfit and because it's comfortable.
Sure.
And it's amazing how much attention we got for those because they are very simple to put together. But we never even thought about, I didn't have an Instagram back then. I didn't know other cosplayers.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was this community.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought people showed up and,
It just
that was it. You walked around in costume. I had no clue.
Or they were like paid by the con.
Yeah, I don't
They were
know.
just paid by the con to just be in these like epic costumes. I don't know. In my head, I'm like, it's like Disneyland where there's just people in like princesses and whatnot.
Exactly.
And they are hired. And you're like, oh no, that's.
I had no idea. And like, people would take our photo and like give us our business card, but nobody would ever send any of the photos. So I didn't realize what the actual, like, and I didn't have anywhere to put these photos. It was like, here, mom, look at this photo. So
That's so funny.
I had no idea until, I don't know. Yeah, about 2 years ago, I think WonderCon 2018 was when we really started to think about doing it seriously. Because I actually did have Francisca von Karma before I started seriously doing it, which is funny because she is a build. But I wasn't wearing a wig. I had her hair because I was obsessed with her and wanted to have her hair. And
Just in case people don't know, what series is she from?
She's from Ace Attorney.
Okay.
And I wasn't wearing, contacts. I wasn't putting in, I had no idea the amount of actual work and effort, like, once you really start doing it.
Yeah.
It's completely different, even though it did take me, I built the costume. I made the costume. But it's almost like people know when you decide, all right, I'm going to really start taking this seriously, because the way people interacted with us the minute we started really taking cosplay seriously just changed on a dime. Like,
that's amazing.
Because, like WonderCon 2018, we brought out Raven and Starfire. And Raven, is nowhere near the build that, say, Francisca is. Well,
Yeah.
Raven obviously is a much more popular character.
Sometimes, right?
But it was like, it was night and day. Like, we had people, trying to talk to us and, giving their information to us and stuff like that. And actually building like connections, not just somebody we talked to once and never saw again. That's when we started actually meeting people and building a community, and joining the community essentially. And
no, that's very cool. I always think, I guess it's a great piece of advice for people who may or may not want to start taking cosplay just even a little bit more seriously, is having like, how do you get approached by photographers? How do you kind of deal with the photographers, etc.? And in the beginning, what did you sort of find to be going on? Were you just shooting with anybody who'd want to shoot with you?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely, obviously now that I didn't have an Instagram prior to that. And that changes everything, because you can tell immediately. You're like, I don't have an Instagram. They're like, bye.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is completely fair. I mean,
of course.
How else are you going to really interact with people? I don't want to interact with people via Facebook. I don't have a Facebook.
Yeah.
And email is weirdly professional. I don't. That's a kind of a strange way.
Professional.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if you afterwards want to email me the photos.
Yeah.
But the first line of contact is going to be Instagram. So I think once you start building that Instagram, and people are seeing it and they go, oh, okay, this is who you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the beginning it was like, oh, people want to take our photo? Wow. Admittedly, it's still like that.
Yeah.
It's not like I really say no to photographers at a convention.
No,
like,
of course
unless
not.
I'm busy, which does happen, obviously. But yeah, we were just, we were thrilled, and, we're still thrilled. It's great that, people want to make, be creative with us and make content with us. And even if it is just, very briefly and quickly.
Yeah. I think it's great. So basically, there you go, guys. If you're trying to you're in cosplay and photographers want to stop you and take pictures and you don't get weird vibes, obviously at a convention, it's very different than they're inviting you to a shoot. But, you're there with your friends and you want to spend some time and they want to take your picture, why not?
And that brings me to, obviously, Haley and I started together. And so we never had that moment I never had to deal with this on my own in the beginning, which I can imagine would be very different.
Sure.
So it did feel a lot safer. And, in general at a convention, like there's not a whole lot, people are going to take you like 5 feet away.
Exactly.
And, it's not like, obviously be a lot more careful if you're planning a shoot outside of a convention. But that's what's so great about conventions, because it's a really neutral way to meet people.
Absolutely.
And a good way to get to know people in an environment that is usually very safe, and it can definitely be very safe.
Yeah.
If you're behaving,
keep your whips about you.
Yeah, definitely. Always
be smart and just basically just be smart is kind of that sort of advice. All right, so let's take it back a little bit. What was your starter anime? Like, what is the first anime you can remember watching?
That I can remember watching.
Yeah.
Well, Pokemon.
Okay. Yeah, and Pokemon is
Easily.
an anime.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets.
Like, Pokemon is not an anime. Pokemon is a life choice.
Isn't it? Jeez. I
forget.
That's truth. That is some truth.
I watched Pokemon for longer than, well, that's not true, but I don't know how many years, but it was just a part of my life when I look back at it. And, but, it's funny, you go, what was your first anime? And I tend to forget that was it, because everybody was watching it. That was huge. That was huge.
That was like a worldwide phenomenon
even
at that point.
Where I grew up, where this kind of stuff was not, people were not watching anime. There was not, there was obviously some people, but it was not like we had really big communities that were into it. People were watching Pokemon. People were playing Pokemon. It was insane.
So fun. Okay, so if we go past Pokemon, maybe what's the first one that's a little more obscure, I guess, or that sometimes people are like, it's a little bit more of a deep dive.
Yeah. Or actually, I want to go back and say something about Pokemon.
Oh, sure.
So when I went to film school, I took a class in programming, and you obviously some of the vocabulary we're learning is about appointment shows, which is for those of you who don't know, appointment show is a show that you make sure you watch exactly at the time it comes out every week, which is a
Yes.
thing that sort of still exists.
Barely,
But,
yeah.
yeah, but it's not as with streaming and everything. It's easy to forget about that and DVR and everything. But obviously we didn't have DVR back then.
Yeah.
And I remember my professor asked me, what was your first appointment show? And I thought to myself, and I thought it was Pokemon, because I remember getting up every Saturday morning and tuning into Kids WB. I had to watch it. Like, you know, my parents were not allowed the TV at that time. You know, that had to be watched, Pokemon. And after he's like, oh, and he seemed surprised because, you know, he was an older man who probably did not understand the appeal of Pokemon. And then he asked the next person. They were like, you know what? You're right. I think it was Pokemon. And somebody who had gone before me was like, can I change my answer to Pokemon? And everybody in the class was like, yeah, it was Pokemon. And I thought that was such a great moment.
I mean, because I guess when you really think about it, I guess for me in a different way, it is like those Saturday morning cartoons just in general, where it was like between 8 a.m. I couldn't tell you what these shows were at this point anymore. Also, that would give away my age. No, I'm kidding. I barely remember, but I do remember that like there were very specific shows, or like even for me after school at 3 p.m. I was, I had a block of TV till like 4:35. My mom would allow me, like, I've been at school for 8 hours. Yeah. So I'm allowed like 2 hours.
8 hours.
I don't know.
Well, okay.
My school was
intense.
Really,
school.
It was a real 9 to 5 grind. Oh my God. However many, 6. I don't know how long you were at school.
I mean, you could have been like an after school program.
Oh, I
something.
did. I was, as I got older, cheerleading and all that fun stuff.
In elementary school cheerleading.
Yeah, I had that one play I was in when I was in elementary school. Anyway, my grandma, it was her stories. At 2:30, she had to watch like All My Children and Days. So that's very funny. That's true. But I guess for me, it would have been like the after school cartoons that really make me think of everything that would just come right after. And I'm like, I got to watch these shows. But yeah, that's really funny. Yeah. Everybody can relate to Pokemon. I mean, I don't think you can turn to somebody and be like, oh, Pokemon, and then be like, no.
Yeah. No, everybody knows
like,
what it is.
What planet are you from?
Yeah. I mean, especially now, like Pokemon Go, like my mom plays Pokemon Go.
That's
like
so cute.
She still plays Pokemon Go. Like I don't even play Pokemon Go. I mean, I occasionally have like a week where I go, I'm gonna play Pokemon Go, and then I kind of stop doing it. But she played it a lot longer than I did.
That's amazing. I love it. That's so cool. All right, so now we'll jump ahead or jump back.
Sorry.
No. Please don't apologize for telling me a story, an interesting one at that. What would you consider, I guess, your first more obscure, or where you're like, oh, this is like anime, and you're like, okay, I like this. Like you might have realized that, okay, not everybody likes this.
Okay, I mean, does Sailor Moon count? Or, I mean, is that still too mainstream?
The crazy part is, I mean, I feel like so many people know about Sailor Moon, but I don't. Yes and no. Yeah, she's still pretty mainstream for the most part. People could be like, I'd be into it, but I think if you actually made it through the several iterations of it, then you're more of a.
Also, like when I was watching it, none of my friends were watching it. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anybody watching it. Yeah. Now most people can be like, oh, like I remember seeing that. Yeah. But it felt obscure to me when I was watching 100%. It. I mean, as much as, in hindsight, obviously as a 6-year-old or whatever I wasn't like, this is obscure. Yeah, I was just like, loved it. I just came home from school and had to watch it.
Absolutely.
And
it felt, that one definitely feels more anime. Like even more anime than like
the tropes are far more obviously anime. Like Pokemon isn't that far off from like a cartoon you might watch.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
So, but Sailor Moon is clearly. I mean, even looking back, some of the things that happen in the original Sailor Moon, I'm like, whoa, all right. Like, I'm surprised that this was going on.
It's wild because they still changed. The dub still, they still made alterations to it. Yet it was still very anime.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I didn't feel like people knew what it was because when I was, I want to say 6, maybe 7. I was Sailor Moon for Halloween that year because I was obsessed with Sailor Moon. And my mom's like, okay, she's making the Sailor Moon outfit for me.
So cute.
And out of just, a white, like, top, and then like a little schoolgirl skirt, and then she used the Christmas bows for
I love
yeah,
it.
obviously I was very small,
Yeah.
so Christmas bows were really
Cute.
big and cute.
Perfect.
And I had very dark brown hair, and it was very long. It was probably almost as long as Sailor Moon's was.
Yeah.
And she just put it in pigtails, and she sprayed the top with the crappy, Halloween yellow spray. But then she just put yellow streamers in my hair to be
That's so cute. I love it.
Made the little buns and made a little fairy wand out of a different fairy. Made her wand out of a fairy wand.
Yeah.
And it was great. And she made boot covers out of felt. It was fantastic.
Props to
This
your
is where I
mom.
get this.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, my mom's great. And I entered a Halloween contest.
Yeah.
And the judges were like, who is this? Like, my mom had to like come bring a photo, not on her phone, because obviously we didn't have phones. So she had to bring like a printed photo. This is who it is. And they were like, wow. So I won, even though they had no idea who I was. So
Best way
that
to
do it. So I actually am an award-winning
guys.
cosplayer. Yeah, I
I
did
gotta
win a
amend.
I didn't think about it, but you know what? I have won an award for my
There it is.
costuming.
I'm sorry. I will amend that. I'll put it in.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the bio.
because I mean it's been 20 years, but
An award is an award.
an award is an
Jelena.
award, and
There's no expiration date on that.
Yeah, so nobody knew who I was. So,
That's so
but
funny.
my mom did a great job on that cosplay, and
That's so cute. Is it on your Instagram?
No, it's not.
All right.
I'm waiting because
Okay.
I would like to do a Sailor Moon cosplay
Yep.
very soon, actually. And I'd like to, I'll put them side by side and show the glow up.
So I guess we'll tie these two in together. So when you're cosplaying a character, generally I'm assuming that you have like a real love for the character, or that I don't know, that it's something that kind of influenced you or inspired you to actually want to take the time to make that character. Now I'm just making assumptions. You can let me know if that's generally more so true, or do you lean on maybe trying to hit some of these trends sometimes when they pop up, if you're ever thinking about Instagram growth, or if you are, like, how are you trying to go about growing in this area?
I mean, 90% of the time it's a character I really like.
Mm-hmm.
The remaining 10% isn't because I'm trying to get out a trend or anything. It's usually just because I'm in a group.
Yeah.
I'm totally willing to put together costumes with, my friends.
Sure.
That I might not have, I might not know that much. But it's usually more of, if I hate the character, I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely.
But if it's like, I have not finished this series or video game or whatever yet, but my friends want to do a cosplay, I'll be like, I'll put the costume together and hopefully I'll be done with it by the time I actually wear it. And if I'm not, whatever, I'm doing it, I'm having fun with my friends, and I will eventually consume the entirety of the canon.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're really bad about doing stuff when it's popular and relevant, I'd say. It's hard to tell what's going to be popular and relevant.
True.
And I mean, like I said, I don't like to go out of my way to do that, but if I'm already into it, then it's nice to be able to jump on it. I mean, obviously, we're like, okay, we really loved Promare, and we're like, I was originally like, I don't want to put this together right now because I have so many other things I want to do. But then I was like, I do want to do it. It would be dumb of me not to do it right now while it's fresh and everybody's obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what will continue to be popular.
True.
Because obviously some things are timeless. Like I can put together a Naruto character.
People love Naruto.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And,
there's constantly
Doesn't
somebody
matter. Yeah.
starting, finishing, rewatching Naruto at some point in time.
Yeah, or somebody like Sailor Moon, obviously.
Yeah.
It's always relevant. But then it's
100%.
like, I really want to do these characters, but do I keep postponing them to do stuff that's currently really relevant? Which is always
The
difficult,
struggle,
which is how you end up making 3 or 4 new costumes for every con.
So many.
It'd be nice to be able to, but I'm also not super fast at putting things together. So, that's also a problem. So it's kind of, I see people have stuff like the day after you see a character, and I'm like, I guess I could potentially be able to do that, but if I had the money to immediately
Sure.
go out and buy all the like fabric and finishings and whatnot, but I'm always like, doing things in steps and increments.
Of course. Which I think is another, if we're going to call this one the cosplay episode, but if you're trying to get started in cosplay or you're kind of already dabbling in cosplay, I think that's kind of the best way to go about it, because I think one of the other things that can become so overwhelming is when you're trying to pump out too much.
Yeah.
And then also, I don't know, I think it becomes like you're pumping out too much, but also you're not finishing anything. So you're kind of like always in this like constant state of unfinished business, costumes, everything. And then, you never know, like all of a sudden, I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you where like you worked on something and then you're almost done, or you've kind of like half worn it. And then you're like, you know what, I'm done with this. Like, I don't want to wear it. Like, I don't want to wear this again. And you maybe have only worn it or debuted it the one time. And you're like, yeah, I think I'm done with this character. But you're just like, oh, why am I like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of what makes it really hard to be a beginning cosplayer, because you don't have the backlog to keep going back on. I'm at a point now where I feel pretty good that if I don't finish something, I have other options in my closet. Because in the beginning, it was like, if I don't finish this, I don't have anything to wear.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
And now, as far as like anime conventions go, I've got quite a bit of backlog. As far as like comics and, Western stuff, I am working on that. But which, I hate to say it, but I think the amount of costumes I was pumping out last year and the year before did really help me in the long run, because obviously the more demographics you're hitting and the greater range of people,
absolutely,
so the more characters you have, the more likely you're gonna hit, like Sakura was my favorite character, so I'm gonna follow you, or or I want to talk to you about her, and Raven's my favorite character, so these are two completely different types of people, probably. So that does obviously help in the long run. But I mean, I say like, I'm going to kind of pull back, but then I keep planning more stuff. So that's a lie.
As unrealistic as it can be sometimes to be like, I can't work on 17 costumes at once, you're still probably going to. Just because, I don't know, there's that desire to.
It's
like,
also fun.
It is fun. That's the other point. Like, if you're not having fun doing it, then this is definitely not the hobby for you. Because it can be a lot.
Like I like looking at a complicated costume being like, cool, like how am I going to do that?
Yeah. That's so smart though. I mean, that's such a good way to actually like look at some cosplays too. I think one of the other things that like Ryan and I, Ryan is my cos partner sometimes, every now and then. He when we started looking at specific like cosplays in general, because I mean we pumped out a lot of cosplay last year too, and especially for it being just our first year. I mean we pumped out a lot of cosplays. I mean, regardless, some of them definitely being just closet cosplays to make it a little easier, but like full cosplays, we still had quite a few. We got to the point where we're just like, here's the thing, we're gonna say this is the character we want to be. We can set a loose deadline, like, okay, we're going to do this particular character for like WonderCon or Anime California or something, something that you're giving yourself some time, but then just also have it be a very loose deadline so that you can still be like, okay, I'm not going to kill myself, because my thing is the con crunch. I mean, my God, the con crunch. We're going to take a quick break for a message from our sponsors, and then we're going to be right back. Konnichiwa. This is where an ad would go. Until we get some ads or sponsors, I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Adults Talking Anime. Please go ahead and follow us on some of our socials, Instagram, Adults Talking Anime, Twitter, Adults Anime, Discord, Adults Talking Anime Plus. That's where you guys get to ask the Plus Ultra questions or tell us what you think or what do you want to hear us talk about. What do you care about? Because we want to know. So get social. Come and find us. Also, we have a Patreon. Feel free to check that out on patreon.com/Adults Talking Anime. So let's get back to that show. Sayonara. Now we're right back. And yeah, we were just talking about trying to also not kill yourself with con crunch. I mean, the inevitable and overwhelming and soul crushing Con Crunch.
Yeah, this is where it's nice, as you say, because obviously you and Ryan do most of your cosplays together, and Haley and I do most of our cosplays together, and it's really nice having a partner to do that with, because it motivates you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it makes it difficult, because then if you don't have things finished, you feel like you absolutely 100% have to finish, because you don't want to be bringing them down.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that.
100%. 100%. I think there's a fair balance, because like even in scenarios where maybe one of us had more done than the other, or I mean, thankfully, the one I can think of was WonderCon. So I don't know. Ryan was just having a time at WonderCon. He could not get it together. And I was like, everything was really good, but we had a very loose plan for like Sunday. And I made very little to none. I was like, this will be easy. And turns out I had no idea what I was doing. And it was way harder than I expected.
Of course.
So this costume I did not have made at all. And then thankfully, Ryan also had like little to none of this cosplay he was supposed to, like, or he didn't even want to wear it or something like that happened.
Yeah.
So thankfully, our Sunday totally changed. And the wildest part about it, that was actually the time I debuted Just Sports Festival at Chaco, which was a really good cosplay for me, because she's really, she's a character I cosplay a ton, and people do tend to follow me for Ochako and My Hero Academia.
And that was where we were, we had already done a My Hero group, and we did not have a Nuraka, and immediately upon seeing your photos, we were like, get her. I mean, we already knew you.
Exactly,
like, you were already, but we weren't as close at that point. We were just, we were
My
just
Hero
convention friends.
brought us together.
Yeah, My Hero is where I went, no, like we need to make sure she joins our group at AX.
I love it. Well, I'm so glad, because the crazy part is Ryan wasn't even watching My Hero at the time, which was driving me insane.
And I was like, he needs to do Kirishima.
100%.
And you're like, he hasn't even watched it. And we're like, well, he will.
Oh,
it's like the most popular anime right now.
Believe me, I was pushing him constantly. So if you guys don't know, really quick, it's My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero, which is probably there's a lot of controversy right now, but was probably number one of the top animes and mangas out like currently that people are just
I definitely
their
say
mind
it's probably
over.
the most popular like current
for sure, definitely current anime. But we're talking about characters from that, so you guys need to definitely go check out the Instagram, and I will also post some pictures that Jelena will let me post on Adults Talking Anime, just so you can kind of see what we're talking about, and you go check out our individual Instagrams too, so that you guys can see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, that's also another good way to find people you might want to do a group with is, via Instagram, or just people you're following once you meet them at a convention. I definitely don't mind. At this point now I'm starting to just follow back whomever. I'm like, I don't care anymore. But it is a lot nicer when you actually know the people, or you respect their work. I think that's kind of like the best way to.
Oh yeah, and if you vibe with them, because you don't want to like get in a group and.
No, definitely don't want to get into a group
obviously,
that you don't vibe with.
I've wanted to like plan group cosplays that needed certain people, and I've gone through the tags, and every time I'm like, oh, this person's good, I'm like, I don't know this person, like I don't want to invite them into the group and then regret it completely, even if so it's nice when even if you just briefly meet someone at a convention and know that even just you vibe as acquaintances, and even if it's not and then if you join a group with them, you'll probably get to know them even better and become even better friends with them. So that's really nice. That's, like I said, same thing with the photographers we were talking about earlier. Conventions are great for just a neutral meeting ground.
Absolutely.
And that is very low stakes.
Yeah.
It's very, it's very casual.
I think that's, I definitely agree. So let's jump to, we hit some Pokemon, we hit some Sailor Moon.
Okay.
I guess let's figure out, what are you currently watching? Are you watching any of the new anime?
I mean, My Hero.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm watching Demon Slayer.
Okay.
Though I'm watching the dub, so I'm far behind everybody else.
Sure.
Which, the dub is like I don't know. I think it's only like 16 or so episodes in. So no, I'm not far in at all. They only just introduced more characters. Are you watching it?
I watched, I actually did watch, I don't even know up to what point. I know that I was like, it was getting good, but I did also kind of just I kind of hit a pause button on it. I think I am watching the sub, so you
might have gone further.
I may have gone a little bit further. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with a lot of the characters that are currently, like, especially that people are cosplaying right now. But overall, like, I just haven't necessarily fallen in love with it as much as everybody else has.
I mean, I'm only, like I said, I'm on the dub, so it's only maybe episode 16 or 17. So I'm assuming, but it's pretty slow for me right now. Yeah.
Me too. Oh my gosh. For sure. I don't know. I just am like, why are people so upset? I'm like, maybe I'm just missing. Maybe I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I'm just assuming it gets better. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad.
It's definitely not bad.
I just don't know. Like,
I'm not in love with any of the characters.
People are crazy about it.
The last episode I watched was probably the most character episode I've gotten to. It was, I'm not going to know anybody's names.
No, don't worry.
Show.
Same. We're going to get all the hate below. They're like, ooh, Inusuke.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I know Isuke's a pig guy, right? So he just joined the group, I guess, like 2 episodes ago.
Sure.
And I can't even remember the main characters. I remember Nezuko. I can't remember.
I want to say it starts with a T.
It does start with a T.
Oh, God. Tojiro? Tojiro?
Oh, it is Tojiro. Yeah, it's Tojiro.
People are like,
thank you. I was like, oh, it starts with a T. I wasn't necessarily I didn't hate him or anything. In fact, I didn't even dislike him. I found him kind of refreshing as a protagonist in that he's
like sweet. And
he's actually good.
Yeah.
There was none of this like,
we
have to. Yeah, he started off being very good at what he did.
Yeah.
He didn't he wasn't just an awful underdog character, which are fine. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I was surprised that he just excelled at what he did, while still being kind of like a nice, character. But he was kind of boring. But then the last episode I saw was with, Inosuke and Tanjiro and, God, whatever the blonde kid who screams the whole time.
I don't know.
They're just like traveling. It's just like kind of it's not I don't know. I can't say it's a filler because filler would imply that it.
Yeah, that it wasn't
the manga. But like it's not like a story heavy episode or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is the most character I've gotten from anybody this whole show.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can see where this was gonna maybe get better, because I think Tanjiro just needed people to interact with.
Because he was traveling by himself for so long.
Yeah, he's with Nezuko, can't talk.
Yeah, can't talk, can't
and
come out of the box.
He's just a big brother to her. It's just, so it's just I feel like it needed to introduce these characters.
Absolutely.
And now I'm like, okay, this is starting to get
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm not opposed to any of the. I mean, I'm
just kind of neutral on it.
Yeah,
I don't know how we started talking just about that.
No,
that's
just
about the only thing I'm watching.
Already new.
Boruto, which I'm watching that.
Hey,
which
I still have not. I didn't finish Shippuden.
You didn't finish Shippuden
because I told you I had to take a stand, guys. I have a whole thing with Shippuden. We'll get there, but if you want to know my thing about Shippuden, I got a whole thing. Here's my thing. I will just take it back to a little bit of like the Walking Dead syndrome. When you kill off a favorite character, I have a really hard, I am like deep down hurt and I have to stop. I have to take a break. I literally think I'm still on this break.
You've been on a break for like 7 months. 8 months?
It has been that long. I've almost had to take
Actually, it's been longer than that because it was before AX we were talking to you.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's true. I'm on a real sabbatical.
We did that shoot where you did Sports Festival Araka.
Yeah. Oh, and is that what I was like?
That's when you were like, I can't watch anymore. And I was like, okay. And I think it was before they'd finished the dub. So,
oh my God.
Or it might have been right when they finished it. So I had just finished the whole series.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah, it's true. That's my.
But yeah.
I had to do this. Actually, I did the same thing
finish it.
with Fairy Tail, though. And it took me a minute. And we were like, the series was ending.
Yeah.
Like, it is dubbed.
Yeah.
It was ending. And I've been watching Fairy Tail for the last 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they did something that really upset me. And I had to take a moment. And I took at least almost like a month and a half, 2 months. The show ended. Like, other people were like, this is the end. Don't you want to finally see the end? And I was like, no.
Oh, man.
I can't. Oh my God. But that'll be an episode for another day.
When you do finish it.
I will. I really like it. I feel less hurt by it. So
I mean, I hate to say, I don't want to say you'll forget about. I like how we're sitting here super vaguely talking about this because I know the character you're talking about.
Guys,
are we
spoiler
not? We're
alert.
not. We're trying not to
Spoiler
spoil.
alert! In case you've
ship it in.
never seen this anime, that's I don't know, 10 years old.
Pretty sure it's about that old. I don't know when the
my
spoiler happened.
I mean, spoiler alert, middle through. We're talking about Jiraiya, okay? I'm just gonna say it. It's Jiraiya. I had a
because
real
I mean,
thing.
you could have been talking about some other characters.
I mean, well, I got upset. Well, here's the crazy part.
All right, we're just spoiling.
Sorry,
Naruto
yeah,
Shippuden.
we're about to like. We're
I love
really
the only reason I'm thinking
spoiling
about
it.
this is because. Well, Autumn was just talking to me about it. She just started watching the show. So I'm like, we
so
can't
funny.
spoil it.
Yeah, don't, Autumn, if you
Don't
happen to be
listen anymore.
stop listening to this point, I'll give you the time code for when you can come back.
Yeah.
This is,
I mean, you've already been spoiled.
yeah,
but,
it's like, sorry about it. Even though, no, it was Kakashi was the other one. Because
Oh.
I was having that moment where literally, like, Jiraiya was now dead. And I was in the arc where, like, I don't even know. Everybody was attacking.
Yeah.
And then Kakashi all of a sudden got killed, too. Or,
Yeah.
like, he dies, too. I know that he doesn't really die.
Yeah.
But, I mean... After he was the other one that like broke the straw, like the camel's back. Even though I finished it because I watched Naruto kill he didn't kill him. The dude with the nose.
Pain.
Pain. Oh my god, how did I
No,
forget the easiest?
He just befriended him.
Yeah, he befriended, and his friendship killed him. And his
Basically.
friendship is what made him die.
Yeah. The power of friendship.
With the power of friendship.
Yeah, Kakashi didn't bother me because I wasn't spoiled on Naruto necessarily.
Yeah.
I came in very, I mean, full, disclosure here.
Sure.
I watched Naruto for the first time, 3 years ago? 2.5 years ago.
Same.
Which was interesting because I got to watch it all in one go. Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden.
I think that's the only way you can do Naruto, though.
Yeah.
Or it's tough.
And, because I had never watched it. Like I said, I grew up in an area, nobody watched any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Naruto, I don't even know anything about it. I just know now, like once I went to college, suddenly, Naruto was a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Haley was like, all right, let's just watch it. And I thought, oh, it'll be like a cute show, like a kid's show.
Yeah.
Like, I like watching like Pokemon and stuff. It'll be
Sure,
like that.
sure.
Like it'll be like a good laugh. And we started watching it and I'm just like, I'm like, can we watch the next episode? I need to watch the next episode.
No,
like,
it does.
I need to
it's
keep watching
really
this.
Good.
Like, I'm
See,
really
I had a hard
obsessed
time.
with
I had to
this.
fight through Naruto, but like Naruto Shippuden, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, even Naruto. By the time we got to like the tuning
Yes.
stuff,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
even a little bit before that, but I was in. I mean, it was, there was some moments it was just entertaining in the beginning, but yeah, even by like tuning exam, I'm like, oh, I'm like really, and then Shippuden was just riveting. But anyway, so obviously it had been out a very long time by the time I had watched it, but I didn't know enough to be spoiled. But I thought when Kakashi died, I was like, there's no way this guy died. Like I that would have been something I would have been spoiled on.
Yeah.
Like I would have known if he had actually died.
Yeah.
Because like when Jiraiya, or was that before or after Jiraiya died? I can't remember.
Jiraiya died first.
Okay. So like
'Cause that's-
Jiraiya, I'm like,
he
I didn't know
dies-
anything about Jiraiya as a character before I came in. So
I was dying.
there's nothing to me that says, why I would have been necessarily spoiled on him. But like Kakashi's like a cultural icon, I guess. And I'm like, I would have seen like this death serial. I would have seen people being like, Kakashi cry, oh, it's so sad about Kakashi. We love him. So I was like, there's no way he's dead. Like I just knew
so
for
funny.
a fact.
That just was for me, that was the Glenn of it all. I don't know if you watched The Walking Dead at all. I'm like, this, and it has nothing to do with anime, but they killed Abraham and then they killed Glenn. And I'm like, I'm done with you, Walking Dead. We're done here.
We're just spoiling everything today.
Guys.
I have not watched The Walking Dead, so no, I was
So
not going
sorry.
to watch it. So.
I mean, well, technically, one is their comic. Glenn was a very well-known death, and technically, you just
I
have
think
to
I
assume,
knew it anyway.
You just have
See,
to
that's
assume.
the thing. It was the same idea. I knew nothing about The
Everybody's
Walking
dead.
Dead, but I know that character died.
Everybody's dead.
I would have known if Kakashi died because I knew nothing about Naruto, but I would have known if he died.
Somehow I figured. Somehow I missed the boat on the whole thing, but he was kind of like the one that I just had to take a moment.
Yeah.
And then it was really. I don't know. Maybe I was just frustrated with how how it just kind of like ended, and he was like, "I guess I'm done."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "But we had to kill Jiraiya. We had to."
I think I didn't.
so
What
mad.
bothered me was Jiraiya's death was kind of lame.
Yeah.
mostly. Like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I really liked
just think
Jiraiya,
yeah.
but he just kind of like, I feel like I never got to see him be like really cool. Like, I wanted him to like, I don't know, have
I
a
don't know why
better.
I have such a weird affinity.
I don't know.
It's to me for some reason from someone rising.
Some reason.
Some reason I have it's like All Might is actually one of my favorite characters on My Hero, and it's weird because like this is such a weird tangent. I was in Walmart the other day and they had a Deku shirt for like $6, real cute. But I realized I go, all the My Hero shirts I wear, it's either just All Might.
Yeah.
Or it's the entire like class.
Okay,
like
yeah.
it's like a badass, like the whole class, something, but it's never just like just Deku or just Bakugo. I was like, man, I got this real affinity for All Might. I'm like, I do not know why.
Like trying to figure out the timeline, being like, he's got to be pretty, I thought he had to be at least like late 40s, maybe even 50. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
100%.
if someone told me something else, I'd be like, whatever. But
Sure.
I remember because, even like characters like Aizawa, I'm like, oh, like I really like, I like him and stuff. I'd like to see more of him. And it's because, like way closer in age to these characters than I am to the students at this point.
It's so funny because I feel like the older I get, like, so for me, just to jump on something random, have you watched, like, right now on Netflix, they have No Game, No Life. Have you watched that at all?
No.
You should. It's actually pretty good. I'm trying to think of, or did you ever watch, like, Clanned? I don't know if you like romance animes. I went through a whole period where I was just obsessed with romance animes. But okay, so you know how in general though the trope is that the kids are really young. Mm-hmm. Like the stories are always about these like children, but then they have these other stories where like, okay, for example, Inuyasha and Kagome. Like it's fine. He's 100-year-old demon, but not really. He's like a 17-year-old boy. But the thing that always bothered me less when I was younger, bothers me a little bit more as I'm older. She's like 14. Yeah. Or the Sailor Moon one is one that really gets me, where I'm just like, I kind of can't with this, like, okay, fine. It's intergalactic and, spans over time.
Yeah, no. I agree because when I was younger, it didn't bother me.
You're like, totally great.
Yeah, it's fine. But now I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know, Sailor Moon, I could never tell how old he was supposed to, like, Tuxedo Mask was supposed to be. Like, I know he was, like, still a student. So I'm like,
I think the thing
and
that
also,
killed
she
me-
keeps saying she's in middle school, but she also keeps saying she's 14. And I'm like, that to me is high school because I'm an American. And I'm like, well, it's like a senior and like a freshman dating, which is like kind of weird, but not like that weird.
I guess if you put it that, I think
like,
when
it's just she's in middle school in Japan.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think
like
the thing that kept throwing me
different.
off is like when they say university. I know that's not. They don't necessarily call university their college.
I think he starts off. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he starts off not in university. He starts off like a private high school, and
okay, all right,
because I think they age a year during the show.
So she turns 15 and he turns 22.
I could be wrong. He was held back a lot.
He turns 27 years old.
Yeah, basically. No, yeah.
That was the thing that always got me though, because now as I get older, I'm just like, why are they just so young?
Oh yeah,
I'm like, you can tell this
like,
story.
Can they at least be like 16?
I mean,
like,
seriously.
Because I'm like at 14, like, well, when I was 13, 14, like some of these, I'm like, I wouldn't have been. This was just like.
No.
I wouldn't have been interested in this kind of stuff. I also
looked like I was 9.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look super young at that age, but I just wouldn't have been, like, into, like, like, some epic romance at that age.
No,
like, that wasn't me. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, maybe some girls were really into that. But,
I mean,
you had to age up a little bit.
13-year-olds who are pregnant and having babies. I mean,
it's completely another issue.
It's a wild, wild world,
But no, I mean... Even in general, like, I don't tend to care for, regardless of any romance involved, I don't tend to care for shows that have mainly children as a cast. I mean, like, we were talking about Naruto earlier, how you were having a hard time, I guess, in the original show. And I was like, I was thinking, I wasn't super into any of the kids in the original Naruto series because they were children, but we had Kakashi and
like you kind of like you started
and Guy and all those characters
with, like, some of the older characters.
I'm like, I am closer age to them, if not older than them maybe, but I have no idea. But I'm nowhere near being 12 or whatever. I don't. And it's funny because I watched with Haley, who Haley watched it when, she was
young,
a kid.
Yeah.
Or I don't know when it came out, but she watched it when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And this was her first time really rewatching it, and it was with me, and she was like, it's so interesting because you have such a different perspective because you're watching it for the first time as an adult.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm starting to like kind of see things. And there's some other animes we watched that became a thing.
Yeah.
Like, just different characters that she's like, I didn't like this character when I was a kid.
And now you,
But now,
I totally
now
get that.
I'm super into this character, or like, you know, like I said, it was just complete. Or we watched one of her favorite shows, one of her favorite animes and mangas was The Gray Man.
Okay.
And we watched, and she was like, oh, like, you have to watch it. And I was like, okay, it's kind of complicated. But like very early on, I was like, oh my gosh, like Kanda is the funniest character. Like, I absolutely love him. And she's like, when I was younger, like, I didn't care about, like, Kanda was just kind of like, I didn't get it. And now I'm like, he's hilarious. Like, he's
so
just one of those,
funny.
like, kind of like moody sort of characters. But I don't know how to exactly describe it. I'm assuming you haven't watched it.
I haven't actually. No, I
Yeah.
have. It's so funny. I feel like I've seen like enough. I've scrolled past it,
Yeah.
but I don't think I've watched it.
But he's just, I don't know, like, I was just cracking up at him. And she's like, no, he really is. He's really funny. Like, we were just
so
laughing about it.
funny.
And he was by and far my favorite character going in. I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have cared for him as a kid either. Or if I had, I would have not seen him the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I would have seen him as this stoic sort of like cool guy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, like he's so lame. Like, but like, it's great. Like, it's hilarious.
That's
like,
so funny.
yeah, just stuff like that. And I feel like I have another example of that, but that more people would be able to understand. I don't know. Does anybody?
We're deep diving.
Yeah,
some
really
people
deep
are
diving.
gonna. Some people are gonna really know it, and some people
Yeah.
are gonna be like, if not. I guess. I guess.
I have not. That makes me seem like I've watched like a ton of anime because I'm like, oh, D. Gray Man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know any. I barely ever meet people who have watched it. But it's mainly just because Haley was like, it's her favorite thing.
Yeah.
So I totally enjoyed it. I watched it because she wanted to, but like I really liked it. It was
Keyboard
really
warriors.
good. It was really
That's
good,
so
but like it also is it's not finished. So
Ah.
that's a little annoying.
That is annoying.
Yeah.
As a lot of, unfortunately, what can happen to a lot of animes anyway, where they won't get finished,
Yeah.
and you're just like, dang,
Yeah.
guess I'll never know how this ends.
So like I'd recommend it, but it's not finished.
Ah, that's
So,
always such a bummer.
yeah.
I guess then this is a fun point to say, if you had to say what your top 5 favorite animes are, or
gosh.
that you think people should watch, you don't have to justify any reason. You could just, if you can think of them, or just throw out 5 that you think people should be watching, deserve a little more love.
That's weird.
I know. I'm sorry I put you on the spot for that one.
Yeah, I don't even know what I would say like my favorites are. Like I said, I watched, because for me, I watched a lot of anime when I was really young.
Sure.
Like Pokemon, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, which don't ask me anything about Cardcaptor Sakura because for whatever reason, I don't remember anything about it. Even down to like main characters.
Yeah.
Even though I watched at the same time I watched Sailor Moon. In fact, I'm pretty sure they came on right, it was like Sailor Moon then Cardcaptor. Or Cardcaptor Sakura, as they were saying it on the thing, but I've been shamed and out of that, I guess. But I can't remember anything about it, even though I watched it back then.
Sure.
But I can remember shit from Sailor Moon. Like, I don't.
Did you watch Crystal?
Yeah, I did. But
Okay.
even before I watched that,
You
I
know,
was like, I
maybe
could
it just
tell
like
you.
reinforces some stuff.
I could tell you all the, Sailor Scouts
Yeah,
and,
of
what their
course.
personalities were and
Sure, sure,
kind
sure.
of a vague understanding of the plot.
Yeah.
Probably not. Like, I don't think 6-year-old me quite knew exactly what was going on in that.
Exactly.
But like Cardcaptor Sakura, I'm like, I don't know any. I remember she had like the cards and the little cat thing, and
I've scanned past it because I feel like it's something I should
think
at least check out.
I think the dub might be really different because I'll be like, oh, I remember there being this character called Lee, and then like apparently I don't know, that didn't ring a bell for somebody who's watched it. I'm
so
like,
funny.
all right.
Well,
But,
I
yeah,
got
anyway.
Funimation, so worst case scenario, we'll
Yeah.
catch up on some.
But
Card
that's a hard
Captor
one
Sakura.
That's probably a hard one to go back to because they seem very young.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends. For me, as long as there's not like a heavy romance
Yeah.
situation, then I feel a lot better about it. But like, I don't know if you've never watched Clan. It's literally the saddest
I've
anime
never
of
even heard of it.
all time. It's on Netflix right now.
Okay.
And it is dubbed also. But it's also a kind of like a harem anime too, which
Okay.
like it's crazy. Basically, a quick like synopsis of it is it's this one guy, and then of course there's several girls, but each girl kind of gets like a moment. So you're kind of left being like, this person would maybe be, you start picking a person where you're just like, oh, this girl would be better.
That was not me.
Just the dog.
FYI.
Yeah, it's basically just like you kind of see like all the different girls in a different way and like what kind of life he would lead. But then they do a continuation because he picks like one or two like the best girls or whatever. And I don't know, it's literally the saddest. It's beautiful. It is a really pretty anime, and for like a harem anime, it's actually really good. But it's the only one I can always think of. But they're young, like they're 16, 17. But I guess also you have to think about it like culturally too, that not necessarily in America are 16 and 17-year-olds getting married, but like maybe in Japan. I don't know. I don't know their life.
Well, I mean, if they're both that age,
I mean, yeah, that makes more. Then it's less.
I'm like
icky,
eye roll
for
but
sure. Yeah, it's
I
definitely
don't
less
care.
gross than when it's real. Like, you're just like, why and ew? Why is this happening?
Right.
But I mean, if you can think of 5 that
Gosh,
you're like 5 is too many, or even 3.
it's a lot. Okay, because as I was saying, like I watched a lot when I was really little. Sailor Moon, Pokemon, all that. And then I watched like nothing in middle school and high school, and even most of college. And then I don't know. At one point, Haley's like, "We're just gonna we're gonna get you to watch a bunch of stuff that you missed." So I'm like, "Oh gosh." Yeah, honestly, I think the one I probably end up enjoying the most really was Naruto.
Okay.
Which is hard to say because obviously that's so long, which probably helps because I feel like we watched some that I can't even remember that we watched them because we watched quite a few in rapid succession. But I'm more like 2 seasons, and then it's like, did I watch something? I don't remember. But Naruto Shippuden, I felt I still think about it. I still talk about it. I'm cosplaying from it. It's become important to me. Which is funny because, like I said, I thought it was going to be some silly. I had no idea how much I would like
the depth of Naruto.
Depth.
I mean, it really is. There's a lot of good characters, though.
There's a lot of characters. There's a character for everyone.
There really
and
is.
I really ended up liking almost everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a hard anime to recommend to people, though, because it's like, 800 episodes if you count both of them, right?
I guess. I don't know. Is it up there all the way with like One Piece? Because One Piece is like... have you ever watched One Piece at all? No. Which is funny.
Well, One Piece is still going.
I know. That's the part.
Naruto is, I guess, technically still going with Boruto.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like an individual. Like, there was an end. Well, there was an end.
Oh, okay.
But no, not on One Piece.
Oh, okay.
Piece is
because
I would say is 100%.
I would say Naruto is just like on the sequel now, so it's not. I mean, technically, it was Shippuden was also a sequel, I guess, but it doesn't feel. It feels like
it feels like
just a continuation.
Yes, exactly.
But. Yeah, it is a hard show to recommend. Like, oh, you should totally watch it. It's great. And it's like, yeah, do you have, time to watch?
Do you want to watch something forever?
Yeah. Are you going to be like me and watch the entirety of it in like 3 months? Probably don't do that. Do not recommend. I also did end up skipping some of the filler. Not all of the filler, but definitely like, I guess, after the original series of Naruto, like it kind of ends and then there's a lot of episodes that are, I guess, filler. And we skipped those. We watched a couple of the first early ones because they were just kind of cutesy character stuff. But then they I guess go into like arcs after that are. So I didn't watch those.
That's good. And anything new that you would want to recommend people if they, I don't know, let's say like what would be, I mean, I think Naruto is actually not a bad choice for somebody who's trying to get into anime. Is there any suggestions for that?
Trying to get into anime.
Like if you're just trying to dip your foot into.
Well, Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah, Full Metal is definitely. I think almost anybody could like Full Metal.
I think that's a
Brotherhood.
Easy Brotherhood. Well, I watched both, but I really wasn't that into the other.
Brotherhood is better.
Yeah, the other one also just went off. I was laughing so much at the end of the original one because it was so ridiculous. Like,
I don't know if I remember how.
Oh man, there's like cyborgs and like time travel or something. It's super off the rails.
Do a weird
it's so
ending
funny.
situation.
And also the writing's just not very good.
Brotherhood is dope.
Brotherhood's really good. Yeah. And I mean, I watched it for the first time not super long ago.
Yeah, I watched that back in college because I think it was Adult Swim would play it.
Okay.
And I did not start at the beginning. I caught like
man.
Yeah, a lot of my animes I never started at the beginning. I just kind of had to because you don't know it was a block of like 2 hours or 4 hours that they would play.
I know Adult Swim used to do like just kind of random episodes of random things.
Yes,
I remember when I was
sometimes
little,
they
I used to
follow
catch
along.
like stuff on Adult Swim. Like
Yeah.
I'd catch like an episode of it, and then even looking back, I'm like, I have no idea what that was.
That's so funny. It was Inuyasha for me, because
Yeah.
then I was like, what
Yeah.
is this? I loved it. I loved every second of it.
But yeah, Brotherhood definitely is
Yeah.
up there. I really,
Brotherhood's a good one.
really enjoyed Brotherhood. Yeah, I watched it maybe 2 years
That's definitely a
ago.
good one.
And it's a good starter anime because it's also not that long.
True.
Like it's long enough to be meaty and like feel like, okay, yeah, like I'm getting, it's not like, 14 episodes or something.
Yeah.
But it's not like, do you want to, commit like a year to this?
Exactly.
Like, so, because it's hard when something like Naruto, because you start watching it and it's like, oh, now I want to interact with it and like see what people are saying or like look
Yeah.
online. But I'm like, you can't. You have to
You're
like completely
guys, do you
like.
remember that first
Yeah,
episode?
yeah. Can we talk about
Naruto.
Can we talk about Naruto like we haven't seen 600 other episodes of it?
That's so funny.
So it's like you have to just completely cut it out of your life
Yeah.
while you're doing it. So then you're trying to finish it as quickly as possible so you can then interact with other people
Exactly.
who are into it. But yeah, Brotherhood is it's kind of a perfect length in that you can catch up with it like it's still going. It's not.
Who knows?
You
It
can
might be
you can
coming
watch
back for
all
all
of
you
it,
know.
and then and obviously not a sitting, but like
over time.
over time,
if you're
a
a
normal person
yeah.
could easily finish it in a month.
Yeah.
Like
Also,
so, I
you'd
mean,
pick
we
a couple
probably-
episodes. I mean, yeah, no, we'd probably
yeah,
overdo it, which is exactly what I do. I get into something and then I'm not sleeping for a few days. Like my thing is, which surprises me, because if you like Naruto, I think I said something insane to my brother where I was like, they're all trying to become, what was Naruto's deal? He wants to become
Hokage.
So I go, what? I'm like, Luffy and Naruto are very similar. They're all trying to become the Hokage.
No.
My brother's like, oh yeah,
He's gonna be the Hokage,
they're all
the
trying to-
pirate.
and then we could throw Natsu in there. They all want to become. They're all trying to become the Hokage. Or no, Deku.
Deku.
I said Deku. They're all trying to become
They
the
really
Hokage.
are. You're not wrong. I mean,
You're just like, what?
all these like long running
They all just want to be the Hokage.
teenager shows. Yeah, they
no.
all want to be Hokage.
But in my head, because I actually went through a period of time where I'm like, I'm gonna watch One Piece, and
Yeah.
this was, I want to say, when One Piece was up to 300 or 400 episodes, and I started at episode 1, and I felt very similar in the way that I felt about Naruto too, because like Luffy's a very abrasive character at first, like a lot of yelling, a lot of like, I'm gonna be the Pirate King,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the
I'm
Hokage. Exactly. But then once you start, like, you get more of the crew and you get more of the backstory, and you're like, okay, this is actually pretty dope.
Okay.
And you're like, but like, when
Yeah.
is he gonna become? And still not the Pirate King. And I can't even. Again, it's been enough time that I've forgotten a lot about this anime that I'm like, part of me wants to restart it.
Oh man.
But the other part of me is just like, I don't think I can. It's too much.
Yeah, I
it's
can't
too
imagine.
much. How do you tell somebody to start watching an 800 episode
Ready for the
anime?
reboot.
I mean, seriously, at this point, or like, give me that FMA or whatever, so I can just
Yeah.
like, I don't know if that's a thing. FMA, it's a movie, right? Like the
Full Metal Alchemist.
I don't know. I don't know. I made up
That's what
that
I
term,
think you
you
said.
guys. Give me that FMA.
I thought you meant like make another one, like
No.
FMA did.
You know the like the movies.
An OVA.
OVA.
Okay, yeah.
Whoopsie.
You got one letter right. That's okay.
Two. It's the VA part. FMA.
You said FMA.
Oh, no,
That's
I
one
got
letter.
one. Well, that's on me, you guys.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm
Especially
talking
we were just
about.
talking about Full Metal Alchemist. So I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I thought you meant, make another one.
OVA.
Make a superior version.
Jesus. I'm sure it's gotten better. Even the animation's gotten better over time, but still, it's how do you begin? How do you begin?
I can't imagine.
An
It's too
800?
much. I mean, admittedly, I thought that about Naruto. That's why I didn't watch Naruto.
That's so
Even when
funny.
people were like, oh, watch Naruto. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, look how many episodes. And then I sped through it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like. Here's the other thing. There's a lot of fun characters, even from One Piece, that'd be fun to cosplay because they're just like, there are very cool characters in there. For me, I'm sure you're familiar with some just by cosplaying. Zoro with the 3 swords, scar across the eye. He has 3 swords, green hair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have like an affinity for him.
Admittedly, whenever I hear fans of One Piece talk about One Piece, they all talk about like they hate it. So I don't know.
That's why. Well, I don't know.
I mean, it might be recent developments or something.
It definitely could be. And my other one is his brother, Ace, Portuguese Ace. I don't know why I had to say it like that, but I had to. But yeah, he's another one that like if I was gonna do like a gender bend or just make it like a femme Portuguese Ace, that I would definitely do that one because there is very cool. Like they definitely have some very cool character designs. People are gonna be like, this is all over.
They're not gonna like the strong stance I took on FMA either.
In my OVAs. Who knows what I'm talking about, you guys? No, I think it's pretty good. All right, this is something I'm trying out, but I call this my Plus Ultra. It's just going to be a couple of rapid fire questions. Gosh. The answers doesn't matter.
I got out of having to tell you
my
favorite
5.
I only have 2 apparently.
I think 3 technically.
Did I say 3?
We got. I mean, in theory, we got what?
We got Naruto and Naruto Shippuden count as
and
opposites.
We got Full Metal Brotherhood.
So, yeah. Well, yeah.
So
I guess that's
3 or 4. Who knows if you want to just go Full Metal?
No, I'm not going to count that.
Oh no, not that one.
That's not going on my
just
favorite
3.
list.
All right.
It's all right until
I don't have any of these questions written out. These are just going to be questions. Oh yeah, but we just call this going Plus Ultra, and you can basically answer this however you want or don't. Number 1, what is your favorite cosplay?
Oh, my favorite cosplay. Honestly, I mean, part of me wants to say Francisca. Francisca Von Karma from Ace Attorney, which is hilariously obscure apparently. But I mean, she is. I love her. I mean, like I said, she's great.
No follows ups.
Yeah.
No follows up. Number 2, what's your favorite video game?
Oh gosh, Final Fantasy 7.
Great. And then number 3, pick a favorite convention.
Favorite convention, Anime Expo.
Excellent. All right. And then I don't know how many questions this should be. Maybe it should be 5.
5 seems to be a good number.
Yeah, 5 is a good number. So
is that my question? Cool. We're done.
And all right, great. You went Plus Ultra, and I appreciated it.
Ultra. Gave you some solid advice on the last one.
Number 5. I think I only got 4 with that being how many should this be? Oh my gosh. What should even be the 5th one?
That wasn't the 5th one?
I don't know. That was number 4.
Yeah, I guess it was.
So the 5th one has to be, I guess, your favorite, I don't know. I'm just going to make it super easy and specialized to your favorite DC character.
My favorite DC character? Yeah. Oh gosh. Jeez, that's actually really difficult. The problem with stuff like DC, it's like I think of different subsets of it as almost completely separate. So like in this, so-and-so's my favorite character. In this, so-and-so's my favorite character. I have a hard time being like, overall, in every iteration of
going
DC.
Plus Ultra. Who, if you had to pick one, if you had one character that you had to pick, who would it be?
I think I was asked.
On your other podcast?
Yeah. I go on so many podcasts that normally only Streamy Award-winning podcasts.
Nominated.
I'm bringing that back.
It's only been nominated.
So you've been telling me.
It's true. It's true.
I don't know. Like a part of me even wants to just say Raven because since I've started cosplaying, I started liking her even more.
I'll take it.
Otherwise,
you've gone Plus Ultra.
Yeah.
You've done it. That was 5 questions. Yeah. 1 was nonsense, and that was 5.
Hey, you asked.
I asked, you
I'm
delivered.
Like a genie. You can't
I love it. I love it. Well, I feel like this episode should be coming to an end. I want to know, since we've bounced around so much.
It's a lot.
It's fine. I like it. I think.
And yet there's so much more.
There is so much more. Don't think that this is your last time on the show.
We didn't talk about video games at all.
I know. We actually have to come back and we'll do a video game episode. Yeah. But since we'll call this kind of our cosplay anime episode, so let's say, do you have any words of advice or anything you want to necessarily shout out at this moment?
About cosplay or anime? I don't have any advice about anime because
perfect.
I'm going to give advice to people making anime. No, I don't have any
more
advice.
So about cosplay, I think would be the way to go.
I'm not an anime expert. Nor am I a cosplay
What?
expert. Yeah.
How
That's
dare
why
you?
she brought me on the show. I've
You
seen
were.
some animes.
I've seen a few.
Seen a couple
and,
that I couldn't remember any of. About cosplay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing is just to make sure you're having fun. Like, if you're not having fun, don't do it. I mean, because it's definitely something that's helped me, like, when I felt like, obligated to do something in regards to cosplay, obviously.
Yeah. Then
Why
don't.
do it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I think that's some great advice. All right, you guys, you've just been listening to Adults Talking Anime Plus. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and follow. Go ahead and check out those links down below. It'll have both my Instagram and Jelina's Instagram. Go ahead and check us out on Patreon, Adults Talking Anime. Also check us out. We have our own Discord that we really want to go ahead and get going. And follow us on Twitter. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We're just a bunch of nerdy adults just living our best lives, watching anime, playing video games, and keeping it real.